for the touchdown.
Going for two.
Hello boys and girls, I am Sir Bradley with the 2-Point Conversing. Tonight's guests include Brad Pitt and musical guest Camila Cabello. This episode is sponsored by Nothing. You know their motto, we may be nothing, but we're the next best thing to something. Okay, so let's get this hockey stuff out the way first. The only report I have as of right now is that they aren't on strike or locked out. We've had a good 5 or 6 consecutive full seasons, which by hockey standards is pretty nice. Let's keep the streak alive, eh? In pro wrestling news, Vince McMahon has announced that he will be investing $500 million in an XFL reboot. When asked why, he said that it would be more fun than just setting it on fire. I, for one, disagree. Also, the WWE has announced candidates for the Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame. Finalists include steroids, pain pills, and cardiac arrest. Next up, baseball. A restaurant in Los Angeles charged Justin Verlander $1 million for being a Dodger killer. No word on how much they plan on charging the Giants, the Cardinals, Javier Baez, Don Mattingly, and Yu Darvish. The playoffs are just around the corner that your mom works on.
Oh!
The Mets have a chance to make it in if they catch fire. But the only way that the Mets are catching fire is if their plane crashes into a mountain. The Boston Red Sox just keep winning. They're on pace for roughly 8,000 wins this year, give or take. Keep in mind that they already have 3 championships this century and are looking like a dynasty. Of course, they had a pretty hot start to the 1900s, and we know how the last 80 years of that century went.
Go!
Basketball is in the off-season, but hey, I got time to kill. Vegas is giving the Dallas Mavericks 200-1 odds of winning the championships.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
When reached for comment, Mark Cuban said something about Shark Tank and then scurried off. And Manu Ginobili is retiring. He says he wants to spend more time flopping with his family. When reached for comment, Kawhi Leonard said the following. And how about that? Dwight Howard is still in the league. Good for him. And he just recently signed with the Washington Wizards, so we can't accuse him of chasing titles. And Kobe is trying to be the third-party candidate in the LeBron versus Jordan election, even though he wasn't the best player on his own team. Speaking of the Mamba versus the hairline, some Kobe stands have not taken kindly to LeBron coming to LA. LeBron murals have been vandalized numerous times. Do they know that Kobe retired? It's not like the Lakers traded Kobe for LeBron. And with LeBron moving west, that makes the East even that much weaker. You can take 4 fast food employees and then bring in a sack of potatoes to play the 3 and still make the playoffs in the East. And the sack of potatoes would play better defense than James Harden. It'd also make more money than you. As for the LeBron-Jordan election, maybe LeBron gets the votes later on down the road, but for right now, 4 more years. And now for the Don Mega of sports. For those of you who don't have access to a calendar, let me be the first to tell you that it is September. The temperatures are dropping, kids are back at school, and dropping, and it is time for what the world calls football americana. But we just call it football, and then we call football soccer for some reason. Here is the Dallas Cowboys schedule. See if you can pinpoint where those 8 wins are coming from this year. Eagles fans have been gearing up for the season by getting into practice fights during the preseason. The Eagles fan base is looking forward to another championship so that they can finish off the parts of Philly that survived the last championship. Aaron Rodgers signed a new deal for around $30 million a year, making him one of the highest paid football players in the league. and about on par with Paul Millsap and Kyle Lowry. With all that extra money, Aaron Rodgers can now purchase even more security to keep away all of those ESPN fanboys that hide outside of his house at night and want to have his baby. Drew Brees and that thing on his face are in mid-season form and ready to go. For some useless information, we now go live to sideline reporter Toby Hunter. Hello, Toby. Can you hear me?
He said with
Hello. You seem to be breaking up. Hello. Sorry, folks. Due to technical difficulties, we will not find out what Drew Brees ate for breakfast. My apologies. Maybe he'll post something on Instagram. We can only hope. Khalil Mack was just traded to Chicago. Upon arrival, he was given 16 pounds of smoked pork and a Teflon vest. What's big right now? Anything making news in football that's really big. Oh yeah, the anthem protest. You know what about these protests? Okay, so the government wants you to stand, man. Okay, and so these Republicans and these liberals. Oh, sorry, I forget. Talking politics on a sports show makes grown men cry, so we'll just move along. All I'll say is, I thought you said you were moving along. All I'll say is, whichever side you're on, we can all agree that the NFL has pretty much botched this. Just like the catch rule, which we still aren't sure of, and the helmet rule, which we also still aren't sure of. Now, I for one like the violence because I have issues. But with the lawsuits mounting, the league is trying to make a safer cigarette. So I understand the dilemma. All of these old timers talking about, back to my day, we were allowed to hit people. Well, those same old timers are now standing in line to sue for getting hit and for hitting people. You can praise the grandparents all you want, but it's odd that they didn't know that smoking was bad for your lungs. And they didn't know that repeated blows to the cranium had side effects. Just saying.
I'm trying to think, but nothing happens.
So now they want to make the game safer and they want to limit the helmet-to-helmet hits. Duh, they might as well just play flag football. Okay, let's not go crazy. You can tackle a guy without spearing his face with your helmet. Again, I like the violence, but to compare fundamental rapping and tackling to flag football is just lame. And as your lawyer, I would advise you to stop making that comparison. For those of you who do online fantasy football and want some advice, here's my advice. Don't even bother. Certain sites that I won't name are shady as hell, and they've already been caught betting on their own sites with inside information. And their offer to match your first investment is straight manure. In college football news, Nick Saban is still cranky. Miami played 6 minutes of good football. Ohio State beat up on a helpless Oregon State pretty bad, and Urban Meyer did not intervene, as one would expect.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.
Okay, Woodchuckers, that's the end of regulations. My apologies to Brad Pitt and Camila. I will try to get to you next time. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe. Any questions, comments, or praise, feel free to add something to the comment section. And if you have something negative to say, just write it down on your mom's lower back and I'll get to it when I can. Peace and chicken grease.